What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and this is the day after. Of course, I'm live. Um, let's talk about the massive knockout of Joyce. First KO in his career. A lot of people call that a TKO. I wouldn't call it a TKO. That's a knockout. There is a difference. A TKO. J. Roos Theory, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. The difference is people say, no, man, it was a TKO. He wasn't knocked out. No. According to the referee, he didn't beat the count. Okay? Because, see, the referee did not, I repeat, he did not give him any validation and any type of, which is stupid. And I'm going to explain why. He didn't give him any type of check or anything. He just waved the fight off. But, see, the problem with the ref, the way he got hit, the way he went down, okay? He went down the way somebody goes down from a knockout. That's a knockout. The same way Joyce got hit by Zhilei Zhang is the same way someone like Danny Jacobs went down. You know, Joseph Parker went down. You know, these guys got caught, and yeah, that's a knockout. See, we wouldn't argue that Joyce didn't knock out Joseph Parker. Zhilei Zhang, that knockout, bro, he did not see that right hook coming. That right hook caught him, and down he went. St. Don, Joyce didn't know where he was when he got up. Joyce was hit, and he got knocked out. I mean, you don't have to get knocked spark out, but it is a knockout. It wasn't like he'd been knocked down 3 times. It wasn't like he got up wobbly. No, the referee called that fight off. Now, the question is, was it a fast count? Okay, and we're going to do an unofficial poll like I always do, right? We're going to do a poll on that later on. FOC, Rock Boy, shout out to Counterpunch Boxing, great stoppage ref. Well, I mean, it wasn't the worst stoppage because look at the impact. Look at the result. Man, Joyce has never been down. Remember the first fight, he rocked him. Joyce went back, and you know what I mean? And then Zhang knew he got him, so, you know, he tried to jump on him. But, you know, by then, Joyce, being who he is, the juggernaut, was able to recover in that quick amount of time. But it showed you, yo, Zhang got that bang. And he had enough bang to draw back and to knock the juggernaut, you know, off his feet. So, Loreco Perez, yo, Kurt, what's up, Kurt? Crew, and big up Perez, big up. Man, it's still hot out here. No sun, but it's still hot. Kurt, Joyce versus Robert Helenius next would be a good idea. Has a comeback fight. Well, Adari, here's the thing. Helenius has to clear himself. He's in the same shit as Dillian White is. Yeah. Helenius banned. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, look, man, I'm to the point now where I think enough fighters take drugs to the point where that should be a misdemeanor because that's how they took it. Look at Canelo back in 18. Canelo Alvarez had too much, not even say too much, but he had clenbuterol in the system. Now, he's Mexican. He goes to Mexico. He goes back home. He's bloody rich. Canelo probably eats what he wants to eat. He probably ate some street tacos that had some beef that were from cows, and the cows were from Mexico, and the Mexicans put the clenbuterol in the cow meat and all this, that, and the other. But then, you know, here's the problem. How can we prove that? How can we ever prove that? How do we know he ate it or he injected it and it just happened to be in his system because of one of those ways? You know? The referee already knew Joyce was too hurt to make the count. Well, if he knew that, though, this is my problem with the ref. If he knew that, he should have waved that fight off. Any referee would have done that same thing. You know what I mean? See, you don't give someone, because to me, it was as though he was giving Joyce the benefit of the doubt. That's how it was. Don't give this man hope, and don't count if you knew you were gonna. He got up by the 9th count, and then you waved the shit off. That's bullshit. But The reaction from Joe Joyce showed you that, yeah, that was a good stoppage because he wasn't fighting too hard, was he? Shit, it was his count. It wasn't our count. We wasn't on the canvas. We didn't get hit by Big Bang Zhang. So there you go. Let's hit that like button. We need more people in here because I know it's a lot of notifications that don't get sent out. I think what it is with YouTube has to have fair warning that you're going live. So, you can market and strategize. And I think what they're doing, they're saying like, hey, you do this shit yourself. Hellenius and White can fight on an island somewhere juiced up. Nah, somebody got to pay him. Joyce got up on 9 but wasn't ready to fight. Well, how do we know he wasn't ready to fight? The only way we know he wasn't ready to fight, unless he showed us he wasn't ready to fight. I thought they proved Canelo beef thing as eaten via hair test or something. I heard something about a hair test. But what does a hair test signify? A hair test signifies that it was in your system. But I mean, it's a hair test. A hair test is actually more stringent. So if it's more stringent, it means it goes back. Like, let me give you an example. If you go to work for a company and you get hired and they give you a urine test, the urine test goes back for maybe 30 days because of the type of test. But if it's a hair test, it goes back 90 days or perhaps 60 days. Okay, so that's a long time, but, or 90 days. So it goes back 3 months for a hair test. So that's just telling us that maybe Canelo Alvarez, that shows that he had it, if he had it in his system earlier than that. Kurt, but it don't matter anyway, because the point I was trying to make is that Canelo Alvarez really, he wasn't fined. He was just banned for 6 months. And what did he do in that 6 months? He had a knee surgery, cosmetic or some shit. I didn't know how do you have a cosmetic knee surgery? What are you trying to make your fucking kneecaps look a certain way? I don't know. I don't get it. But Kurt, who wins Zhilei Zhang versus Frank Sanchez? I don't know. Because see, what people don't understand, the same principles apply for Zhang fighting someone that is more mobile than Joe Joyce. See, everybody's talking about, and this is what people do. They see a hell of a knockout. They're like, dude, this dude has power. He's supposed to have power. This motherfucker is 300 pounds. He's supposed to have power. If he don't have power at 300 pounds, 200, what was it, 287? Was it like 287? Wasn't he, wait, okay, 281 to 287, right? Okay, that's almost 300 pounds, bro. That's right at 300 pounds. Bill Keeveney, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Arizism, much love, Kurt. Blessings, bro. Blessings to you, Arizism. Kurt with Zhilei Zhang versus Frank Sanchez. I think that fight could be made, actually. But I mean, it would be worth Frank to want that fight. But I don't know where he's ranked in the WBO. So you have to look at the rankings. And does he qualify? Because Frank Sanchez, I think he's getting a raw deal. He's getting a raw deal on the WBC because the champion is holding the belt for hostage on the WBC end. He's the 4th in line. He's ranked number 4. Right now we have Wilder and we have Andy Ruiz. It's somebody else. Who else is there? Third to second. Who's the first? No, Deontay Wilder's the first. I think Andy's the second. I don't know who's the third. Somebody check that for me. St. Don on 9. Joyce was glazed over, facing wrong way. I don't think Joyce, how could Joyce have experience of being knocked down if he never been dropped before? More drugs in boxing than Compton in the 80s. You still running, Don? I think, Rock Boy says, I think that they were saying it was weak in his system, hair test. Frank does deserve a big fight. Yeah. But you know, I don't think someone like Mauricio Suleiman will give him that opportunity. I don't think that'll be the case because in like for Frank Sanchez and you guys know how I feel about fighters. I do a lot of observation on fighters, on what they do and how they treat fighters or what they don't do for fighters. And like Frank Sanchez has been sitting in the rankings for long. He's an undefeated fighter, unlike any of those guys that's there above him. You know what I mean? So I don't understand how in the fuck can you put someone ahead of another fighter that hasn't lost? You know what I mean? It would seem to me you would have to beat that fighter to get that spot. But they're just placed there. They're not in a situation where it's, you know, they've earned it. You know what I mean? They didn't do nothing to earn those spots. They earned those spots due to where they were placed, due to where they are, ka-ching ching wise. UK fans are hype the living daylights out of their fighters. Till this day, the Bronze Bomber. I'll take Frank over Zhang. See, Zhang is going to box. Zhang is going to get boxed by Frank, and if he's smart, he would do so. See, because if you go head up with Zhang, you will get knocked out. And one of the biggest heavyweights that we have showed us that. One of the biggest heavyweights with one of the best chins, okay, got stopped first by Zhang and then got knocked out second by Zhang. And his name is Joyce. Okay, so you know, don't go head up with that guy. Like, it's not smart to go head up with Andy Ruiz. That's stupid. Ask Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz was a guy that thought he could bang with Andy Ruiz. He was boxing Andy. Luis Ortiz, old as he was. I mean, this was Luis Ortiz's last fight. Old, no legs, bad legs, knees shot, and he was still outboxing Ruiz. And Ruiz just waited for him to come in. As soon as he comes in, he starts countering. You know, and if it wasn't for those 3 knockdowns, Luis Ortiz would have beat Andy Ruiz. Those guys are not hard to figure out. Zhang is one of them. Zhang is a guy that's waiting for counters, okay, because he's older, he's bigger, he's strong as shit. But then what happens is if you box him, if you give him angles, he can't handle that. Look what Filip Hrgovic did to Zhang. And I'm not shitting on Zhang. I think Zhang's a good fighter, but he's a good fighter based on the style that's in there. See, with Filip Hrgovic, get this, Filip Hrgovic found out early, I can't bang with this dude. I can't go toe-to-toe with him. That's why he took his time. You know what I mean? He got his distance, and he started boxing. And when Zhang tried to come in, he made Zhang stay back. So he made Zhang respect him, but he didn't come in for a firefight. He boxed him, and when Zhang tried to come in with his counter, he gave him 1, 2, 3, and 4 to get him back, to keep him back, because he knew this dude can punch. This dude dropped me in the first round. I don't want to taste none of that. And then he showed you, though, and I give Hrgovic respect. He learned and he adjusted. Like, look, I'm not going to go in there fighting this dude like that. I can't do that. This dude has some heavy-ass hands, so I'm going to sit back. I'm just as tall as him. You know what I mean? I can box. I'm younger. I got the stamina. And see, what started happening with Zhang started to slow down. You know, and what happened, it made Zhang also come forward and try to initiate attack more. What does that do? That burns more stamina. That burns more energy. Okay, so there you go. See, so somebody like Frank, yeah, Frank's gonna take it, box and jab. He's gonna box, he's gonna move. You know what I mean? He's gonna need some good sparring, but he needs sparring with an aggressive southpaw, because Zhang will get aggressive because he knows he only has a certain amount of time, and he's not gonna sit there and try to box you. He's not. He's gonna try to knock you out. Okay. Flat Bob Ruiz said, "Send me another contact." See, I told you there, nothing out there for him. Fat Blob Ruiz sent me. Well, hey, you know, he should have took the money, though. You know, and in this case, if Ruiz is that hungry like he claimed he is, he would have took the fucking money. That's just common sense. You don't come on social media talking about I'm calling all these guys out. Deontay Wilder, send me another contract. Anthony Joshua, Usyk, I'm ready, baby. Look at these legs. Mira este piernas. Man, shut up. Just shut up, man. You know, because he didn't want that fight. Drunk last night, Don, and talking shit. Kurt Zhilei Zhang versus Alexander Usyk in China would be awesome. Well, you can't have it in the Ukraine. You know, I'm all for it. Bernard beat Kelly after he lost to Kawasaki. He sure did. You know, like Bernard Hopkins was one of those fighters that you thought he was done. You thought he was done. You thought he was one of those guys that he was never known for the undisputed record. He lost his first professional fight. You know what his second professional loss was? Or his loss was the second to Roy Jones, one of the best in the world. So then he goes all this time and he gets all these title defenses. He obtains the middleweight championship of the world. And then he starts breaking and tapping into Don King's fighters. Don King had Trinidad, Felix, Joppy, William, Holmes, Keith. He had all these guys that were, he was like the current day Al Heyman. Bernard Hopkins was like the current day Terrence Crawford. So what he did was he came in and said, you know what? This is all politics. It's all BS. This is all corrupted. Don King's running a show. You know what I mean? So he had a lot of stuff going on. But Bernard Hopkins started whooping these dudes. And he did. He whooped all of them. You know what I mean? I don't remember when he fought William Joppy because I know they had a tournament. Trinidad fought Joppy and knocked him out, I think, round 5. Bernard Hopkins beat up Keith Holmes. Okay, and then they fought. Then Bernard Hopkins beat Trinidad, which was his golden boy. Trinidad was Don King's golden boy. So, yeah, he did basically what he's doing. You know, and I think when you're looking at fighters like Bernard Hopkins, you know, then he gets beat by Jermaine Taylor. He hurts Jermaine Taylor the first fight. Second fight, he hurts him again, but he loses both, you know, to a younger guy. And then after that, you know, he goes and fights other fighters and he loses. Then he comes back by beating Antonio Tarver. Antonio Tarver knocked out Roy Jones Jr. Then he fights Roy Jones Jr. Right by then, Roy Jones was shot, but he still beats him though. He gets his revenge with that. He loses to Kawasaki. Then he comes back and fights Kelly Pavlik that stopped Jermaine Taylor twice. So listen, yeah, Bernard Hopkins, bro. Then he knocks out Oscar De La Hoya and somewhere in between. Now, so like, yeah. Bernard Hopkins is the man. He is the alien. You know, then he'd start whooping dudes at his old age like Shuvanoff. You know what I mean? And he was a beast. It's just people didn't know how big of a beast he was because Bernard Hopkins already took him out. So that's that. Joshua beats Zhang. This Joshua, let me tell you something. This Joshua probably beats Zhang. And you know something weird? The Joshua back of old probably would have been caught by Zhang. That's if, because see, Joshua would be trying to knock out Zhang, which he probably could. But I think eventually Joshua was going to get hit with something that's going to cause him to change his whole style anyway. A lot of people say we missed that old Joshua. I missed that dude too, but that dude knew he had an expiration date on him. That style had an expiration date. Joshua knew and he figured out, yeah, that shit scared the hell out of him. It spooked him. See, with Joshua was that guy, let me go in and attack. Go in and get him. That go in and get him shit didn't last long. Didn't last long at all. Then Ruiz basically showed him. Really, it was Povetkin. If you look at how Povetkin came at him, I just think Povetkin was busting up Anthony Joshua, but I think Anthony Joshua, he has a good chin, but he has a soft skull. But listen, this Joshua beats Zhang. Oh yeah, this Joshua beats Zhilei Zhang. Because Joshua is going to be, now here's the thing, I didn't like that performance he did against Elenius. You never know who's going to show up with Joshua. You don't. I was at the Zone fight last night. It was fire. Nice. Zhang is 2003 George Foreman. His technique is better than Foreman. Foreman had a shit style. His style was very, what's the word? Rugged. You know. Question for you, Kurt. In your opinion, which body is current the best? Best is last, least biased. IBF all the time. IBF is there. I think what the IBF does, I think they look at other sanctioning bodies and say, we're not doing that. We're going to do the opposite. You say that shit, Mauricio. See, the WBC and the IBF are totally, they're on both sides. Look, here's right wing, IBF, left wing, WBC. Boxing is mental. Joshua has had the privilege of seeing Zhang fall from his punches. Well, I want to see it though. And see, Joshua needs somebody, because Joshua needs a fight like Zhang. He does. He needs a fight like Zhang because we're not getting the Wilder fight. Now, I don't know why. Steele's challenge. I don't know if they flop. I don't know what's going on over in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. James Bash coming in with that cash. AJ switched up. Joyce sadly couldn't. Well, yeah, Joyce just knows one way. Joyce is just too slow. And then, and eventually it caught up with him. And, his day, that was yesterday. Fury will beat Zhang. I think Fury could beat Zhang. Listen, anybody that can box and smart and not too greedy can beat Zhang. Because see, that would be, look, if I'm Tyson Fury, and if I care, I don't even think Tyson cares anymore. I think when Tyson gets that check for $40 million or whatever he makes fighting Ngannou, I don't think he will come back, which is fine. I don't, I just don't want him to hold the belt hostage. And see, it's only going to be him that releases the belt, because Mauricio won't do it because he's chicken shit and he's money hungry. So he's going to have to take the initiative, be the better man, take the high road, do the right thing. And we'll see if he can, because as long as Mauricio will let him do it, which will be forever, he's going to do that. He's going to keep the WBC, and he doesn't have to fight voluntaries or mandatories or boxers at all. Crazy. So it's going to have to be Tyson that says, you know what, I'm through with this. But Tyson, I think, likes the idea of being called a champion. I think this is what Tyson's deal is. Tyson Fury has been claiming and proclaiming that he is the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. The only problem is there is no physical belt for that. Okay, I think if somebody made him a belt from some type of organization, maybe the Ring magazine, and they made him a lineal title that has Tyson Fury on the sides of it and the little bucket holders, I think then he would be satisfied. I think he likes the idea of being the WBC champion because it's actually something tangible. Okay, it's something concrete. It's something that he can hold. Okay, that's what I think Tyson Fury's deal is. See, he doesn't have to do anything, and if that's like someone calling you the president of a company and you don't have to go to work. Hell, I would take that job. Kurt, Zhilei Zhang versus Michael Hunter would be a very bad idea. Yeah, you know why? Because Michael Hunter is a kind of guy that will box your face off. He will box your face off. That's probably a banana peel. I like Michael Hunter. The only problem is Michael Hunter is probably too much like you and me. He's too cool of a guy. He ain't an asshole. He ain't a clown. He ain't like a charismatic social butterfly. He ain't that dude. He's too much like a regular everyday dude. He has the personality of an Amazon driver. Hey man, what's up? Chilling? Good to see you. Anthony Lausua. So the WBC ranked guys need to stop paying their fees. They're getting robbed. Well, I don't know. It's a system, and I don't think what they're doing is right. I don't. But it's a system that they got in play. They've got this orchestrated. They had this orchestrated for a long time. And I think what he does, he then kickstart certain things in order for people to not start complaining as much. So let me give you an example, right? Like like what he did with Canelo and David Benavidez. He's doing that shit because he knows people are looking at other divisions like Tyson Fury and Jamal Charlo. These dudes haven't had a damn mandatory in a long time, and people start investigating. You know what I mean? When people start investigating, it's like, well, wait a minute, man. What do you really got? What are you really doing over there? You're letting this guy keep this belt. You're letting Tyson Fury fight MMA guys. You know what I mean? So he starts, scrambling. So it's like, okay, we need to implement something quick for the people because the public can be your blessing or your worst nightmare. I know we'll give Canelo the opportunity to mandate his championship against David Benavidez. Joyce was nervous and scared to throw anything, to be honest. Well, he knew those punches. See, when you start getting counter punches are very difficult to deal with because they're the worst type of punches. They're the type of punches that you don't see. But if you get hit with enough counters, it makes you weary of getting hit with these shots. Okay, especially when you're throwing something. So you're giving up energy, but you have to take something back in return. And that something back in return ain't too pleasant, especially when it's in the form of a punch. You don't want to see that. You're going to throw a left hook, but you got caught with a left uppercut or a right uppercut. Bow! Oh fuck. You're going to think. You're going to be tentative. But yeah, but back to Zhang and Fury. Fury knows that, hey, he could outbox Zhang. You know what I mean? Now he ain't gonna fight him like he did Deontay. But here's the thing: Deontay ain't a Zhang. Deontay is a guy, jab, jab, right hand, jab, right hand, jab to the body, right hand upstairs. That's pretty much that. And when Wilder gets hurt, we've seen in the trilogy fight, he will go back to doing the same shit, just like Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce started getting hit. He started coming in with these George Foremans. Kurt, who will win? Zhilei Zhang versus Deontay Wilder. Well, here's the thing. Any heavy-handed puncher like Zhang, Joshua, Wilder, it's who hits who first, really. It's who hits who first, because when you're dealing with heavyweights, let's say, because I've seen Wilder knock somebody spark out, Spilka, Ortiz. These are southpaws, by the way. We've seen this happen. But I've also seen Wilder get buckled by right hands, right hooks. You remember the first Ortiz fight? That's what caught him. He went in to throw a right hand, and Luis Ortiz nailed him because he stayed right there in the pocket. And when Wilder came in to overcommit like he always does, he nailed his ass. And when he nailed him, he knew he got him. The way he buckled him, and he had him on the ropes. And he started gnawing away at him and started throwing these punches and shit like that. And the referee all of a sudden started scrambling in there, and he got all close all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't set up for Luis Ortiz to win that fight. Skrilla 50 in the building. What's up, brother? Counter punch to you. Spilka got knocked out cold in 2 rounds by Derek Chisora. But listen. I will say this, Floyd Mayweather. The fuck? I will say this about Spilka. Spilka wasn't the same. They had to haul Spilka out on a damn stretcher when Wilder caught him. When Wilder caught him, Wilder damn near decapitated that boy. You know why? Because he was getting pissed, and Wilder's one of those dudes. He's like the Black Hulk. You keep pissing him off and keep making him mad, he's going to land something that's going to hurt you. Because, see, that's almost like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury got up under the skin in Wilder's head. Rent-free, people. He didn't pay rent. He was scavenging. He was a squatter in Wilder's head. Would you fucking stop? He was a squatter in Wilder's head, okay? Let me stop this shit. So, what ended up happening was, when he finally caught Fury in the 12th round, he caught him with the right hand, and that left hook, you know, he kind of throws it like this. You know, he throws it under, like he's like hauling, like he's slinging something instead of putting his weight behind it. But he caught him with that. That's frustration. That was like, got him, bitch. He caught, you know what I mean? Because he was pissed at him. With Spilka, he had hit him one time. That's all. That's all he needed to, because Spilka was done. Spilka, his head was up under that bottom rope. It was done. He was done. But Kurt Wilder couldn't sleep Dudapas, yet Povetkin gave him melatonin. Well, I mean, Dudapas is a different animal, bro. Dudapas is a guy that's a journeyman, but he's also a guy that's known for his durability. You ain't gonna knock out everybody. That's why, like, look, Wilder is a very good puncher. You might, you know, especially with one punch power, yes, he's very effective with one shot. Because that's all he, you know, it's a good thing, because that's really what he basically trained. When he was with Mark Breland was restricted. Since Mark Breland was restricted on how and what to do with him, the only thing that he could really do is the jab and right hand, jab, right hand, jab to the body, right hand upstairs, or jab to the body, right to the body. That's the offensive repertoire that Wilder had. That's if you've seen it. Now with Malik Scott, you've seen him kind of throw, you know, some punches and put a, you know, left hook behind it and all that shit. He wasn't able to do that with Mark Breland. He didn't do that with Mark Breland. Okay, so based on I'm saying this because Wilder is a guy that the best thing he had was the power behind the right hand, because he really didn't have anything else. He didn't have the left hook behind that and the right, because he didn't practice that. You're going to fight how you practice. You're going to practice how you spar, and you're going to spar the way you fight. Okay, so when he gets in there and he didn't work on the left hook to the body, upstairs, jab, you know what I mean? Jab, you know, pull counter, right hand, left hook, left uppercut, you know what I mean? Off the front foot. He didn't do any of those things. Jab. He just wait, you know, if you look at Wilder's a simplistic fighter. But he's simple, but he's dangerous, because he knows, okay, with this right hand here, I'm gonna hit his ass, and I'm gonna line up my shot. And then when I hit him, he gonna see these things. When he sees these things, it's gonna be too late. Wilder is still in the game. Yeah, he's still in the game. You damn right he is. Why wouldn't he be? Can you and me do a fight, Kurt? YouTube slabs. Don't see why not. Have to put the money up. Gotta put the money up. I ain't doing nothing for free. Fuck that. The most damning thing about Wilder's career is that he couldn't pay away a completely out of shape. He couldn't put away a completely out of shape Fury. Well, Stewart, to be fair though, let's look at that how it is. He wasn't just a completely out of shape Fury. Tyson Fury had 2 fights that year. He had 3 fights total. He fought Pianetta, he fought Safari. Now, I think what was the Pianetta fight? The Pianetta fight, it was somewhere in England, I believe. He fought him like 12 rounds, I think. You know what I mean? And then after that, Wilder comes into the ring, and then they set up that fight with them. So no, he had 2 tune-up fights. Yet he was okay. Will Frank will Frank Warren make Zhang wait for Usyk mandatory? No, I mean, yeah, I mean, he'll get him a fight in between because Usyk has to fight again. This is September, late September. He may make him wait. That's a good question because why would you risk someone that, you know, let's say they put him in there with somebody that knows how to box. But trust me, they're not going to do something stupid like put Michael Hunter in there. That's stupid, you know, because Michael Hunter may be that banana peel. But back to Hunter, he's just a regular guy that's cool. Michael Hunter reminds me of like my cousins from the Midwest. They're just cool people. He ain't no dude that's coming there to like self-promote. He ain't one of them dudes. He one of them dudes you want to have a beer with or something. He ain't that, you know what I mean? Not saying he has a weak personality. I'm saying he's not a Muhammad Ali. He's not an Adrian Broner. He's not a Floyd Mayweather. He's not a Tyson Fury, a Jarrell Miller. He's not any of those guys. He's a regular, average family man, which is nothing wrong with that. I am not talking about Michael Hunter whatsoever. You know what I mean? I have mad respect for Michael Hunter. You know what I mean? But I think Michael Hunter, you know, has, you know, pissed over his opportunities. How so? Who is on top right now? Who's fighting for a heavyweight title right now? Fucking Filip Hrgovic. What fight did he turn down? Fucking Filip Hrgovic. You know what I mean? Hrgovic wouldn't be in the situation that he's in now if he would have fought Michael Hunter, because I seen Michael Hunter beating him. But then again, the time he fought or supposed to fight Filip Hrgovic, the next fight against Jerry Forrest, was it? He looked like dog shit. So who knows? So it might have been good for him not to fight Filip Hrgovic, because Hrgovic probably would have beat him. Who knows? But Hrgovic and them had to fight, but he turned that fight down, and he was getting like 900,000. I think what it is, no, like 700,000, because I think it was like the purse bid was like $1.1 million, 1.2 million, and he got like 70% of that. But he turned it down because he didn't want to fight overseas. He told me this personally when I interviewed him. And funny, needless to say, if you guys look up that interview, I had COVID. So I'm a sweater anyway. So I was thinking like, damn, I'm sweating. I was in the Caribbean. So I was like, damn, I don't know. Maybe that's the case. But no, dude, I had fucking full blown COVID. I mean, the bad COVID, the COVID that was killing people. Right. But what he told me at the time, he was like, look, I didn't like how Eddie Hearn controlled most of the shit. And I didn't like Eddie Hearn because he already worked with Eddie Hearn. And, Eddie Hearn just kind of gave him options he didn't like. He didn't really go too far into it. But, in so many words, he said he didn't want to fuck with Eddie Hearn like that, which is understandable to a certain degree. But in this game, this is the boxing, the sport that we love, that we hate so much, right? You have to do certain things that you don't like. If Terrence Crawford wanted 50-50 against Errol Spence, we would have never seen Terrence Crawford beat Errol Spence because the fight wouldn't happen. There will always be a justification for that fight not happening based on someone else's decision or pride or what they're not willing to do because it affects their integrity or whatever it is. Okay? I thought Povetkin beat Hunter. No, it was a draw. No, it was a draw, Squilla 50. And a lot of people think Hunter really beat Povetkin. It's just Povetkin hurt Hunter twice. But Povetkin, guess what? Was old. He was still old. Matter of fact, they fought on the undercard of Ruiz Joshua too. Yeah. That was a fight that was on the undercard. Fury was watching the ref count. To this day, bro. So was what's his name? So was Dubois, but it didn't matter, did it? Dubois had he was watching this dude the whole time, and he decided to get up on that. I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of UK refs. I think in any big fight, I think like that, I think they should have American refs. You know what I mean? Like, I wish for fighters, I think at least they had a choice to choose the style of referee that they want. Not just pick a ref and pay him off. I don't mean that type of corrupted shit. I mean, the whole idea of just basically having a fair ref that fits your style of fighting. So if they know your type of dude, that you can take shots, you're durable, you are committed, you know, I think it's almost like working with a certain type of boss, right? Working with a certain type of boss that boss knows you. Like I had a few ex-bosses, a lot of ex-bosses, because I worked a lot of places, right? But a lot of them know who I am. They're like, well, that's Kurt. We know Kurt's gonna do this. We know what he likes to do. We know how he likes to do it. I think the same should be for the referees, you know? So I think if these referees knew these fighters more, besides working behind their own ego or own decision making, which is flawed, I feel, because they'll ruin someone's life with the type of shit they're doing. You know, let's just face it. You know, a lot of times, like that Usyk Dubois fight, that should have been so much different. We would have saw what Usyk was able to overcome if he would have started counting. We would have knew what was the case at that point. But now we'll never know, right? He said to this day, are you Deontay Wilder? Chances are probably not, but who knows? JD watched the fight, and it was on the back of the head. What fight? JD, that's me, bro. I'll be fighting soon. Fat Blob Andy didn't want any smoke. Well, humor me till this day, the Bronze Bomber. If you're the Bronze Bomber, tell me this. Why didn't Shelley Finkel allow you to fight Vladimir Klitschko? Because I was told by a good friend of yours that you really wanted to, but you couldn't get the fight. Tell me about that. Andy wants all the smoke with the buffet. Yeah, he does. I want all the smoke. I want to eat the whole buffet line. Because he was a baby champ. Another thing, why'd you let that grown-ass man call you a baby? I don't think that was cool. I didn't like that at all. I didn't care for that one bit. Joyce versus Arslanbek. You know what? I have Mark Madoff over Joe Joyce. He's faster and he's more awkward. Now, it will be a firefight. It will be a firefight because Joyce is coming to fight, but I think Mark Madoff is more awkward, but he's quicker. You know, he's a rambunctious motherfucker. He throws his nasty, weird, awkward punches, and he just, look, he dashes in. Have you seen Mark Madoff, man? I've seen his last fight. Like, Rafael couldn't really deal with all the, like, what the fuck are you doing? He's just, oh, you know what I mean? The break. Then he charges you like he's Conan the Barbarian in a war pit or something. Mark Madoff's next twitch is weird. Dude, you ain't ever lying. I think that motherfucker, I think he's juicing. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? It's a twitch, bro. But the question is, where did you get the twitch from? Did the twitch start before you started fighting? Or was the twitch, you know, did it start because of the activities that you were doing? I don't know. That was weird. Joyce would get smashed against AJ. Big up Kurt. It's Lions opinion. 115 here in the UK. Lions opinion. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Wilder versus Zhang. Till this day, we were lining up the fight Vlad, but he had a mandatory in Fury. So we were waiting for that to be out of the way, but Vlad lost. Okay. Well, that was for a unification. So here's another question then, till this day, Bronze Bomber. You were waiting for Vlad to fight Fury, so you thought he would beat Fury. So if that's the case, how did 2 years later, or why didn't you fight the person that had the belts, which the IBF went vacant because they stripped Tyson Fury? Well, the other two belts, the WBA and the WBO, what happened? They all spread out, really. So why didn't you fight for any of those? Klitschko would have put Wilder in the hospital. Zhilei Zhang knew Wilder would get slept by Vlad. Sold Downs to this day. Why didn't you unify with Martin? Oh, I can tell you that. Joshua and Eddie Hearn, they had more money. They gave him like $8 million. Who the fuck's gonna turn out $8 million? You're the champion and you have an opportunity to fight in another country for a shitload of money. Yes, you're gonna go for it. Klitschko would have fought the same fight Fury did in the second fight, but he hit harder, so it would have been over inside 3 rounds. No, I think Fury would have been. See, Fury knew. I think Fury knew. Fury knew, like, look, I outboxed Klitschko. He had no intentions of fighting him again because he knew, like, look, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not fighting Klitschko again. You know, he knew not to. It just wouldn't, lightning strikes, but it don't strike twice in the same place. Wilder doesn't take tough fights. Who's going to turn down $100 million for 3 fights? Zhilei Zhang, Al Heyman. Deontay Wilder did. Wilder didn't start generating money until he started fighting Fury. And that's true. But understand, it wasn't Fury, though, that gave him the increase. What gave him the increase was the potential Joshua fight. Then DAZN, what they didn't really know, they unwillingly or unknowingly promoted Wilder. See, they offered him $100 million. So what Wilder and company did, Wilder then went back to the networks on the behalf of Al Heyman and told them, well, look, you want me to stay with Fox, PBC, Showtime, which I have no problem with. I love you guys. But you guys are going to have to give me more money. They're offering me $20 million to fight Dominic Breazeale. So they gave him 10. Once he knocked out Breazeale in the first round, Showtime dropped Deontay Wilder. They dropped him. He didn't fight on Showtime no more. They dropped him from the roster. And I don't know, it was something about money or whatever. And then when he fought Luis Ortiz for the second time, that was on Fox PBC. So when they went with Fox PBC, then, of course, he had the fight with Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, along with ESPN, along with Fox PBC, they merged to have that fight. That was a merged fight. But Showtime was not included. None of them started generating, just Joshua's name came to pass. Well, Joshua was making all the money, and people couldn't understand why. Tyson Fury really wasn't even fighting, to be fair. Because, see, Joshua was making pounds, bro. He was making M's. Wilder was making hundreds of thousands. That's a big difference. Wilder was pretty much getting outbid by Joshua. Think about it. The Charles Martin fight. I think he was self-sabotaged by Shelly Finkel. I think Shelly Finkel knew, well, I got two fighters here. One of a legend, the other one a younger fighter that became a champion. So how about I just keep these guys away from each other and keep them in their own lane? Meanwhile, we're going to take the legend and put him against this cash cow guy over here in the UK named Joshua, that Olympian. And then with Wilder, we're going to keep him busy with Chris Arreola and Bermain Stavern and, you know, guys like that. You know, Luis Ortiz is on our roster now. He's a pretty tough Cuban, but he's getting kind of old. I think it's time for us to now put Wilder in a test to see what he can do with Ortiz. Now, if he comes out on top, we're going to promote him more, okay? Because at that point, Joshua had already took out Vladimir. Then he fought Carlos Takam. That's supposed to have been Pulev. This is all in 2017. So by 2018, it was time for Wilder to fight Luis Ortiz. Now, mind you, what happened at the same time? Anthony Joshua is at the same time, same month, unifying with Joseph Parker on the WBO end. Okay, so he had the WBA and the IBF. He was fighting Parker in a unification for a potential WBO fight. Winner takes all. Wilder still had the WBC. He was the champ, of course, but he was fighting guys like who? Luis Ortiz. After Hrgovic beat Usyk and Zhang beat Fury, Philip Hrgovic versus Zhang undisputed. Yeah, that'd be some bullshit. You know, you would have two undefeated guys. I like the idea of new guys coming into the midst. This is basically a lower scale promotion from a fighter. You know, now he's elevated. Zhang is elevated to another status because he took out the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. He took his place. He's now the interim WBO champ. Joshua not elite enough. Well, let's say this. Joshua's going through a transition. Okay. Wilder is not fighting. Tyson Fury is fighting YouTube fucking, not YouTubes, but he's fighting non-boxers. So I think it's fair to say, let's stop fucking with Joshua because that's the only thing we're really able to see. You know what I mean? Like, Joshua's the only one that's fighting. Wilder ain't fought since October sometime. You know, we've been blessed to see Zhang fight Joyce twice. We've seen Usyk fight Dubois. We've seen Joshua fight twice. And Wilder hasn't fought any. And Tyson, this is his first fight, and it's not even against a real fighter. So I'll say this. Elite, I don't give a shit about elite at this point. I give a shit about people actually bringing things into action. We're seeing Joshua actually do something, at least. See, Wilder should have fought somebody. Fuck it, nobody. Bring him out of the woodwork. Damn, they're good at doing it all these other years, bringing him up with people that we ain't heard of, and, you know, guys that'll take dives for him, and now he's a trainer and all that shit. So listen. Listen. At the end of the day, I think we need to see more fights. I want to see Usyk fight again this year. There's no reason Usyk shouldn't fight twice this year. He's not fighting in any war. I think he's in Poland or wherever the hell he is, chilling. Kurt Joshua's been fighting like this since the Parker fight. The only time he fought stupid was Ruiz won trying to match Wilder. Well, that was dumb anyway. Wilder wasn't going to fight Joshua until the money was hype. He was trying to wait for the money to get bigger. That's why they did that. That's what they do over there. They wait. Everybody wants to be Mayweather. Everybody wants this to be a Maypac. Everybody wants to sit around and wait for that opportunity. Meanwhile, they either do nothing or they fight nobody. Because they don't want to risk it against somebody that they could possibly fight that the fans want to see. And we suffer and we're like, what the fuck? You know, whereas UFC's killing it. You see pretty much every fight you wanted to see. And it's very little fights that you don't want to see that you don't get. Wilder versus Franklin is good. I would like to see Franklin versus Wilder too. Franklin, that's another name that's jumped on the scene. Franklin, Zhilei Zhang, these guys are up and coming. Guys like Andy Ruiz falling through the cracks. This motherfucker should have fought somebody. He's trying to fight everybody big as though he's a fucking star. He ain't no star. Andy Ruiz is a one-trick pony. The guys that he's fought, Luis Ortiz is old. Chris Arreola wasn't really, he's Olympian, silver Olympian, I think. But he never really met his full potential because I think he didn't really apply himself the way he should have. Nonetheless, that was a long time ago. Him fighting and getting beat up by Klitschko was a long time ago. It ain't fucking over, eh? That's a long time ago for Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola is old too. They're all 40-something. Luis Ortiz may be 50-something, man. Let's be real. You don't get no credit for that. Now, I know what Andy's trying to do. Andy's trying to do this. Andy's trying to say, you know what? Wilder, he only beat Ortiz. He beat him twice. Now I beat Ortiz. And I beat Joshua and Ortiz. So I've done what I'm supposed to do. That's how he's thinking. That's why they want all that damn money, because Ruiz is thinking, hey, I've beat the guy that only Deontay Wilder beat. And if you go by that, okay, I can get it. But no. The only problem with that is, that logic is the fact that Deontay Wilder fought Luis Ortiz and took that O. Then he did it again. So basically, he fought the last gleaming hope from a guy that's forever fading. Okay? In other words, Luis Ortiz, bro, was very dangerous then. And if you got to tell it, you got to tell it all. Andy Ruiz was a guy that ducked the same guy that he beat last year, an old, washed up, shot-legged Ortiz with them old-ass legs. He ducked Ortiz 2 years before that. Facts. He straight ducked him. I'm not ready. Wait a minute. You're not ready and you think you expect everybody to believe that you really wanted to fight Dillian Whyte? See, the Dillian Whyte situation is the same situation that we just seen with Deontay Wilder. It's just less nastier. He ain't talk the shit to Deontay Wilder like he did Dillian Whyte, but he still talks shit like, oh, I'm ready for the opportunity. Want money. Luis got dropped by Charles's jaw. Exactly. Floyd Mayweather. Listen. That shows you, and that's evidence that Luis Ortiz getting dropped by a jab was done, son. He was done. He was done. There was nothing else like, listen, Luis Ortiz won his last victory, that thing, I think. And I love Ortiz. Everybody knows I love my Cuban fighters. It's part of my family. I love Cuban fighters. I think I don't think they get really the respect they deserve because they don't have a fucking country that respects professional boxing because they're fucking idiots. But I think those guys, based on their training regimen, based on the ring IQ, based on the extensive experience that they had with all these guys that are making all these millions of dollars right now, that they fought in the Olympics and the amateurs, I think that they have the potential to be some of the best fighters in the world. But I think the best Cuban fighters in the world either never turn pro or we won't really get the luxury to see go pro. There, I said it. And I think because of that, the guys that we are actually fortunate to see, the Ladas, the Rigendaus, the Ortizes, these guys actually made a stand, and I have to respect that because that was the fight that they did outside the ring. Okay, they had to overcome some shit to defect a place that they only knew. The biggest country in the Caribbean, but it's really microscopic in comparison to what they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So they had to make a sacrifice to come over here, leave their family. Some left their children. Edislande Lara left a couple kids over there. You know what I mean? To come over here and motor. And he defected twice. Because the first time they caught his ass, him and Rigendau was deported back to Cuba. And God knows what happened to them when they got back. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a lot of those Cuban fighters, and they don't speak English like that. They're not really marketable porque de todo habla español todo el tiempo, no habla inglés mucho. Entonces, no, pero no lo puedes promoter. You can't promote someone like that. But then here's the deal. Well, Mexican fighters, you can do that. And I always thought that was strange. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Canelo Alvarez, estoy listo para lo que sea. Estoy mexicano por ciento. Pero yo trabajando con Golden Boy, con Oscar de la Hoya, el mucho gusto. But then you hear that, then you're like, okay. But then all of a sudden, what is Canelo doing? Canelo speaking English like a motherfucker. So I think the whole idea of a lot of Cuban fighters, I think they don't really get what they deserve to get, and I think what they get, I think they're fortunate to have, but I look past what they're given. I think they deserve more. Dorticos is very good Cuban fight. Yeah, Dorticos is pretty good too. Zhang is just all wrong for Joyce. It's a style thing. Joyce is still top 10. Yeah, he's not going to be, look, that style, that he's going to wait to Joyce slow. He's just faster. His timing's better and he's faster. That's two double negatives for Joyce. If you got somebody like Joyce throwing punches and bunches, then you got someone like Zhang, equally bigger, probably equally more chinned. He can take just as much shots, especially Joyce's shots. That's what we're talking about. He can take Joyce's shots. And Joyce can't really take his due to the fact of the element of surprise and counterpunching and shit like that. To this day, I'm the last great American heavyweight. Damn. I am the Omega. Jack Johnson was he was the alpha. I'm the Omega. Andy Ruiz versus Michael Hunter makes sense. Andy ain't gonna fight nobody like that. I'm telling you what Andy is. Andy Ruiz is looking for the next big paycheck, and he wants all the money in the world to put whatever he think he has left on the line. That's it. Joyce was disrespected by the ref. He didn't even get a chance to fight on Fury. Was more knocked out than that in the first Wilder fight. Well, there you go. And see, King Mike Hall, I agree with you. That just shows you, though, what I'm talking about with the differences of referees' discretion. One referee may say, hell yeah. Well, the other one will say, the next one will tell you, hell no, that ain't suitable. Then you're thinking like, damn, imagine working at the same company, but you have a different boss and each boss is different. You'd be like, what kind of shit is this? Look at that low blow of Usyk. I bet you that punch to the borderline from Dubois is keeping Daniel up at night. It was legal. It was legal shot. I bet he drinking over that shit now. It was legal. It was legal. Fury is holding up the undisputed heavyweight champion. Fury is just doing what Fury wants to do, and Mauricio is allowing him to do it. He doesn't need that belt to do that. Tyson Fury, I would have no problem with Tyson Fury whatsoever if he didn't have that belt. Because I wouldn't care, because we know these fighters, a lot of these fighters. Joshua done it. White done it. You think his shoulder was really fucked up against old Otto Vailene? I don't think it was. I think what he did was he thought about that fight and thought, you know what, this could possibly be another Povetkin situation. Let's get the fuck out. Let's get this fight done with Tyson Fury before I fuck up and do something that I don't need to do that may cause me the fight with Tyson. And I think he bailed. Joshua, he could have fought Otto Vailene. Joshua could have fought Zhilei Zhang. He could have fought these dudes. He didn't. Joyce stepped up. Joyce needs to be respected a lot more than a lot of these fighters because he's doing something that these fighters ain't doing. That's why he's getting his ass whooped. He's getting his ass whooped because he's fighting the people that could possibly kick his ass, and they did it. These dudes ain't doing that shit. All the way down, these top guys are really not top guys to me. Let's keep it a buck. Joshua, Wilder, Tyson, none of these dudes are fighting the best. Wilder's last fight was his sparring partner, Robert Alenius. Who the fuck was that, really? Who did he beat besides Adam Kalnacki? Adam Kalnacki wasn't really shit either. Let's just, he was a guy like Joe Joyce that was eventually going to get exposed. and he got exposed. It's just Joe Joyce was, I think, was just a tougher bloke. Now, Adam Kalnaki versus Joe Joyce. Ooh, I would love to see that type of fight. See, I don't really care for these big guys fighting because it has to be so much on the line. They have to make so much fucking money. It has to make sense. Fuck making sense. Let's just see the fights. Let's just see the fights. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what they do. Let's just see how it pans out. They're not going to do that because it's not enough money for them to do that. But with these guys like Joe Joyce, Adam Kalnaki, Robert Helenius, who else? You know, these guys. I remember one of my best fights in the last 2 or 3 years, or 4 or 5 now, is Adam Kalnaki fighting Charles Martin. Great fight. Joyce would beat Kalnaki. Yeah, he would. He would beat him. It would be one of those fights. It was almost like a walrus taking on a polar bear. I mean, it would be one of those, they just keep fighting until one of them falls over. Because they would just, but it would be a fight that you would want to see. It would be something like a Gotti versus Ward. It would be that type of fight because these guys will go back and forth until they can't take it because they don't really know any other way. And then based on their style matchups, based on the way that one likes to dish it out and the other ones like to take it, and they both like to dish it out and they both like to take it, I think they're going to respect that. And I think they're going to go for the gusto and they're going to go toe to toe. And you're going to have one magnificent, fantastic fight. And then, you know what? And people are going to want to see that shit again. Here's the problem. For our entertainment, these guys are going to go in one way and they're going to go out the same, especially Kalnaki. I think Joe Joyce is a tough, big bloke. This motherfucker was at a Shaolin temple at once upon a time. However, the way these guys will fight, the way they will give it out, they'll give themselves in that fight, I think that's one of the best fights. Zhang versus Wilder would be insanity. Malik Monecraft, I don't think so. The only way it would be that way is Zhang is able to beat or hurt Wilder. Think about the magnificence of Wilder versus Ortiz 1. What was the real big thing? Okay, Ortiz could outbox him. Sure, he can. Cuban fighter, Cuban school. That's no surprise. But he was also able to hurt Wilder like you never seen Wilder hurt before. Wilder's been dazed a little bit, but never like that. Not ever like that. Sorry, Mom. Not ever like that, okay? So, in order for Wilder versus Zhang to be anything like you think it's going to be, because again, Wilder's a warrior. Wilder's going to throw shots. But Wilder is not a guy he's not a guy that is a grueling go toe-to-toe fighter. He's a dude, he's an assassin. All I see Wilder doing, he may take some shots from Zhilei Zhang. Once he gets enough space from Zhilei Zhang, he's going to lay Zhilei Zhang's ass out with a straight right. And if Zhilei can't move, if he can't move that head, he'll be on the canvas. Hrgovic hurt Wilder in sparring. I don't think he did at all. I think that's bullshit. I think if anybody hurt Wilder in sparring was David Hay. There we go. Joy's team picking Zhang was the worst matchmaking I ever seen. Well, it happens. But I mean, we see who's better, you know? Yeah, he paid the price. He fought a guy. And they're bad matchmaking. He was just better. It happens, bro. People gonna win, people are gonna lose. That's what happens when it's not everything is all about corrupted and let's see if who's the right guy. I don't know if he's right for my guy. Fuck all that. Let's see who's better. That's what I say. Zhilei Zhang versus Efe Ajagba. That would be a good fight. Now that's a more doable, winnable fight for Zhilei because Efe can be hurt, but then Effie's not a sniper like Wilder. He will knock your face off, but he's not that dude. I never seen a 130K guy move as fast as Zhang. He's a good timer. He's fast counterpunching, fast hands. Wilder can't take shots from Fury. He's not taking shots from Zhang. But I'm saying Zhang's not a Tyson Fury. Man, okay, hold on, guys. Do you guys understand Tyson Fury is a motherfucking beast? He's a beast. We don't know how big of a beast he is. We don't know how good he's going to really be or could ever be. Even guys that are Tyson Fury fans. Shout out to Javon Miller. He's one of my closest bros back in Louisiana. He texted me last night, okay? And he told me, I think Tyson Fury's the best ever, but we will never really see it because Tyson don't want to fight nobody. That may or may not be the truth. This is my reality. This is how my counter to that. I don't give anybody credit that hasn't earned it. Tyson hasn't earned it by beating Wilder 3 times. He just hasn't. And I think he beat him 3 times. But what's official? He's definitely beat him twice. He stopped him once and he knocked him out in the 3rd fight. You know, a lot of people think he outpointed him. I think he did enough to win the 1st fight due to the fact that people thought that he was done and washed up anyway. They thought that he was going to gas out in the 4th or 5th round. They thought he wasn't going to have anything left after round 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12. But not only did he do that, he got dropped twice and was still able to get up. So that's the magnificence and the resilience of somebody that shows you that he has heart and grit. And it's sad because the guy like Tyson Fury that has heart and shown heart and grit don't want to do and don't want to show it no more. If anything, you're going to think this is crazy. Tyson Fury is a lot like Anthony Joshua. What do I mean by that? I mean the fact that Tyson Fury was able in 2018 to show us that he could rise like Lazarus after getting hit by one of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight history, Deontay Wilder, especially in this division or in this era, okay, and get up and show that he can still do it. And then the 2nd fight show that he can stop him in the 3rd fight, and then he don't want to do it no more. He's fighting fucking UFC fighters. Okay, what's the difference? Joshua's not trying to commit to hard fights like Klitschko, Povetkin. He's not trying to do that no more. So but like, at least Joshua's still fighting, but they're still on the same scale mindset-wise. We ain't trying to fight like that no more. Maybe Tyson Fury is just like that, and I believe he is because he's not showing us that he's the best. They ain't gonna stop him from talking shit. He's gonna talk shit till he drops dead. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua I think is one and the same. I think they both mentally don't want to show what they were once worth once before. There, I said it. Joshua just doesn't have the hunger anymore. Maybe Tyson doesn't either. Maybe Tyson doesn't either. I mean, you're fighting UFC dudes, and you got guys like Joyce, and you got Zhang running around here knocking fucking guys out like Joyce. And you're going to tell me, oh, Tyson still has it? He doesn't want to fight for undisputed because of this, that, and the other, the middleweight, and you know what I mean? Like, it's so many people that he could fight. Anderson, Jared Anderson, you wait around for him? I want to fight till me 40 years old. Oh, you're going to fight till you're 40 years old? Okay. Technique. I knew Joyce was a glass jaw bum, not iron chin juggernaut. No, I didn't know that. See, so many people going to say the shit Technique said. Oh, I knew that. No, you didn't. Mac Paul. Good morning, Kurt, from here. Counterpunch to you from wherever you are. Joshua's still a great fighter. He's just not that motivated. Well, he should retire. You know, he should retire. Joshua made enough money. Good to him. Fair play to him. You know, he's made a great impact in the sport of boxing. He's the reason Tyson Fury's getting millions. He got millions. He's the reason Deontay Wilder got millions. He's the reason why a lot of people like Charles Martin became millionaires, and Andy Ruiz and Pulev. You know what I mean? These guys that he's fought, and Usyk, he's fought these guys, and he rose it to a certain level, having all those damn endorsements and all this, that, and the other, JD Sports included. And he's the reason why these guys are making millions, because he was in the division. Joyce still has the best chin in this era. I mean, here's the thing. People. We have to understand something. Joyce has never been hit by Wilder. Joyce has never been hit by Fury. Fury has never been hit by Joyce. Joyce has never hit Wilder. You know, we don't know any of this shit about anything. So to say he has a good chin based on the people he's fought. I want to see if Joshua's left hook can drop Joyce. I think Hergovic has an underrated chin. I think he does. I mean, he was able to get up by Zhang, and I think people should think and argue and discuss that right now because of what happened to Joe Joyce. I can understand that. Kurt, who wins? Zhilei Zhang versus Arslanbek Magomedov. I I don't know. I think I would have to ride with Magomedov because I think he's awkward enough. I don't think Zhang could handle the wrestling and the tussling and the grappling and the roughhouse tactics because that's what Magomedov does. I think Magomedov is actually I think he's a psycho. I believe he's a psycho. Hrgovic's chin is good. He took some power shots from Zhang in their fight. Yeah, he took some, but he went down. But to be fair, he didn't get caught with those type of shots. That Joyce got caught flush, bro, with a shot right on his chinny chin. Chisora in his prime had a great chin. Yep, he's no longer in his prime now, though. Hrgovic was gifted the Zhang fight. Hrgovic showed that he could box. He showed that he could adapt. He showed that he didn't allow the same thing to happen again. So that's what you call adjustments. If anybody should be smiling, it should be Hrgovic right now. Kurt, Zhilei Zhang would knock Derek Chisora out. I think a lot of people would knock Derek Chisora out. But I think Zhang has the power to do so. Joseph Parker was able to do it. Dillian White knocked him Spark out. I had Zhang winning by 1 round against Hrgovic. That fight was very close. Chisora sucks. Man, let me tell you something. You guys are talking about Derek Chisora, and I don't think that's right. I think it's disrespectful to talk about someone like that. Derek Chisora has given us some of the most exciting nights. He gives his all. Derek Chisora is not a bitch. Derek Chisora is a guy that's fought pretty much everybody that he could possibly fight. Everywhere from the Parkers to Klitschko's. He's fought Tyson Fury 3 times. He's fought Dillian White twice. He's fought Parker twice. He's fought a lot of people, bro. And for somebody to say he's a bum, I think that's disrespectful. Because Dillian, had a great saga. And look, he was beating Dillian in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people think he beat Dillian White the first fight they fought. Chisora is a throwback fighter. He doesn't care if he loses. He just wants all the smoke. Yeah, he's a throwback fighter. He does a throwback fighters you can't disrespect by calling them bums. You see him now. Sure, you've seen him in the last fight that he won against Gerald Washington. Well, dude, you have to understand. Derek Chisora is probably, 38, 39 years of age, but he might as well be about 52. He might as well be the same age that Luis Ortiz actually is, based on his damage and based on what he was able to take and the stuff that he's went through, the wear and tear on his body, the blood, sweat, and tears. I don't appreciate that. Yeah, Chisora made good money, and he knows that he's looking forward to retirement. And he knows I think Derek Chisora still loves to fight. I think he loves to grit down on that fucking mouthpiece and throw those bows. You know what I mean? And for some people, believe it or not, people, real warriors, real Spartans, they never get tired of that. You think John Fury, you think like John Fury loves the idea of physical contact because he's a maniac. Don't mean he's good at it. Okay, but that doesn't stop him from wanting to punch somebody in the face, especially if that's something that you used to do. It's in your mind, it's ingrained in you. Okay. So a lot of boxers, they get kind of complacent and start drinking like a fish and doing drugs and dope and shit like that because they're not fulfilled by just sitting their ass at the house. It's somewhat of a post-traumatic stress disorder syndrome situation because they're not accustomed to sitting around on their ass. They're accustomed to going to the gym, waking up at 4 in the morning, just slobbing down a half a dozen of raw eggs and going for a run and hitting the bag and getting somebody drilling them to tell them to do this and strength and conditioning and sparring and all this type of shit. Eating, sleeping, repeating the process. Then they say it show's over. That's like a death sentence to a warrior. A boxer is a true warrior. A boxer is a guy that knows I may not come out of this ring. This fight here might have gave me permanent damage to my brain. Okay? Kurt, who wins? Filip Hrgovic versus Arslan Bekmambetov. I don't know. That's a good one. Tough call. Even if Juice finds the mineral to fight Bomb Squad, when Bomb Squad flatlines the weightlifter, you not only let me on the channel, but you let me throw the Juice shirt you are wearing in the trash too. Well, here's the thing. I'm not throwing shit that I pay for in the trash. I'm not gonna be disrespectful because somebody lost. That doesn't make sense. But my word is my word. You will come on the channel. I'll bring you on the channel and I will let you talk shit until you get tired of talking shit. But understand, you would be talking shit based on something you knew, not based on something like, yeah, I told you, you shitted on my fighter. I give praises and I shit on all of them. Joshua included. That's just like if Joshua loses, that's like me throwing away my Bomb Squad shirt. Why the fuck I'm gonna do that? Chisora gave Usyk his hardest fight in the heavyweight division. Bobby V, there you go, and he fought Usyk too. The only person he hasn't fought was Joshua and Wilder, and then he's fought a lot of people, bro. During the show, Usyk was making Chisora look good to trick AJ for the title shot. Yeah, that's what I heard. But I don't see Tyson fighting anybody. And I think he's actually lost a hunger. I don't know how you guys can't see that. You know what I mean? It's either this. Let's look at it this way. Tyson Fury's either lost a hunger to fight, serious competition, or he's lost a hunger to or he's scared. He's either scared or he's lost the hunger. Which one? Kurt, who wins? Zhilei Zhang and Ali Arizin. I don't know. Have no idea. I hope Fury fights Zhang. It would be a great fight. Zhang calls him out in a very disrespectful way, in my opinion. Fury has to show boxing fans he has heart. Tyson Fury just showed all y'all. Fuck all y'all. That's what he said. Tyson Fury said that to all of you. He told you all what to do. Bars. Doesn't care about that. Fury's a coward. He doesn't want no smoke with any competition. Well, see, it's either that, because people draw your own conclusions. Definitely scared to lose the O. Draw your own conclusions. See, it's like this. I think, to me, Tyson, it's a pride thing. I think he likes Mayweather because he understands Mayweather, because he understands the mentality and the purpose of people not really liking him. And I think this is what Tyson may do. Tyson may be on the verge of bringing and turning everybody against him. And I think he likes the idea of that because people are going to come see him lose. What do we all want to see happen against Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou? I haven't really seen people say, I wish Tyson beats the shit out of Francis, because Francis ain't did nothing to nobody in this particular realm, in this platform, in this sport. He ain't did nothing to nobody. He's a newcomer. What the hell do we have against Francis? We don't. What do we want to see? We want to see Francis knock out Tyson. You know why? Because Tyson is getting We're getting sick of Tyson. We're getting sick of his shit. Since we're getting sick of his shit, we want to see him lose. Why do we want to see him lose? Because he's not fighting the best. He's not fighting the people we want him to fight. Why? And then for that, entonces, this motherfucker is becoming the bad guy. So is Floyd. Frank Sanchez versus Michael Hunter would be a good boxing match. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. But would that fight happen? Probably not. Michael Hunter's not a PBC fighter. That's the sad part. MMA fighters don't earn as much as boxers. They want the money mostly. Well, I understand the potential. I would fight Tyson too for that type of money. $8 to $10 million, $10 million. Hell yeah, I'd fight him for $10 million. I'm gonna clear 5. I can live with 5 mil. I do a whole gang of shit. Dude, I have a whole podcast, bro. I would build a podcast. Michael Hunter hasn't fought in 2 years. What is he doing? I don't know. You know what I mean? And the sad thing about Michael Hunter, he's a good fighter, and I just don't know what he's doing. And then I think that inactivity due to the inability. Well, here's the thing: a lot of misfortune and a lot of bad decisions. Okay, Michael Hunter made a bad decision a couple years ago. He did. He should have fought Hrgovic after the purse bid was won. He won the purse bid. But then he tried to come back from it, and then every time he tried, like, look, he was supposed to fight Huey Fury. Huey Fury's all fucked up for some reason. Now he can't even get the fight again. That fight's off the table for whatever reason. I guess they thought about it and said, you know what? You're not fighting Michael Hunter. Maybe Franklin is more than a gem sweeper. Fury seems to think so. Well, he's had him in his camp, and he sees how hard he works, and gem sweepers don't work as hard as a guy that was able to lose a massive amounts of weight and show us that, hey, he's taking his career seriously, working from previously working in like a factory or something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, most people that are gem sweepers gets an opportunity like Franklin, gets that money, gets fatter like Andy Ruiz did, and then runs off in the sunset and goes to do whatever they were doing before. That's a gem sweeper. Danny Dubois versus Joseph Parker would be an interesting fight. Yeah. Yeah, they both got beat by Joyce. Yeah, I would like to see it. Dubois was robbed against Usyk. Next, he could potentially been in line to rematch Usyk if he has beaten Hrgovic. Well, Hrgovic's waiting for his shot, and I don't blame him. Dubois quit from the jab twice. Hey, yeah, you can't argue with that. That's funny. He did. This motherfucker quit he quit because of jabs. I can't take the jab. The jab is hurting. It's hurting me. Usyk won. Zhang beat Hrgovic. He was robbed. Zhang versus Wilder would be good. King Mike Hall, you know something? Karma, baby. I think God sprinkles karma all over the world all the time. You know what I mean? That kind of it's a system that pretty much serves itself based on your own actions and decisions, and then by your actions and decisions you get your consequences. So he's just kind of like, here's a little bit of karma for you guys. There. Okay, wait. 3-minute rest for a legal punch. Whatever. Don't ask Usyk. Ask the ref. James Bash coming in with that cash. People talk about Wilder's power against AJ like they did for Joyce's chin versus AJ. You need more than one trick to survive against the elite in boxing. Absolutely. Thank you for that acknowledgement, my brother. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you, James Bash, for the cash. I want $1 million. What? I want $1 million. No, seriously, James. Look, he's absolutely right. James Bash, Couldn't say it better, bro. Listen, a lot of people talk about that one fucking thing a fighter has. They don't talk about all the other things that they don't. I just find that strange. You know what I mean? Like, I would be for a fighter that can do many things versus a fighter that can do one. That's why a lot of times people talk about the power of Wilder, the power of Wilder, the power of Wilder. And I'm like, look, listen. You talk about the power of Wilder all the time, but you don't talk about the other guy's boxing ability, what the other guy could possibly do. I still have Joey over Juice. Joey. Um, it would be a good fight. Let's have it. See, I don't care about like this. I think at this point the champion is Usyk, and that's it. Tyson Fury is not showing himself a worthy champion. So I'm really looking at him kind of like, yeah, he has the belt, but he's not doing anything with the belt. So he's a big incomplete right now. Stuart, who do you think wins between Wileen and Gassiev? I hope Wileen wins. I'm an Otto Wileen fan. I like what he did against Tyson Fury, even though Tyson Fury beat him. He beat him, bro. I'm not one of those guys. Tyson Fury showed once again, and I think that was another fight that makes Tyson really think like, look, I'm tired of these fights like that. I want to fight some easy fights. I want to do what Floyd did. Floyd made it fun. Floyd made making money fun. He didn't be a Spartan and take a bunch of shit. And you know what I mean? I think Tyson wants to be like that because he likes the idea of living that type of lifestyle for having low risk, you know? But see, Tyson's still able to put some gloves on and box. I think he still loves the idea of boxing. I just don't think he wants the opposition with difficulty. He doesn't like the hassle of someone that he has to figure out. Like Usyk, listen, Usyk became the rabbit or the middleweight. But one thing sticks out at me about Tyson Fury calling Usyk something that made me raise my eyebrows like this. You want to know what it is? It's the fact that Tyson Fury called Usyk sneaky. You sneaky little gappy tooth ugly bastard. Key word, sneaky. Why do you think Tyson called Alexander Usyk sneaky? What's sneaky about Usyk? You know what I mean? What did he do that made him look deceiving or slick or sneaky or clever, or you know what I mean? I think the sneaky is a negative way of saying he's very clever. He just says sneaky because he needs a negative adjective to express someone that he knows that's cunning, slick, and gifted. Fury thinks he came from nowhere suddenly. You don't see Usyk's punches coming, asked AJ. Well, I think Tyson knows that. I think Tyson knows that's why he calls you a little sneaky little motherfucker, because he knows that he knows that Alexander Usyk is a guy that's clever. You don't call no one, listen, you don't call anyone that you don't think's a good fighter sneaky. You don't say that. If you are not a good fighter, you're going to call him what? You're a bum, you're trash, you're underrated, you're a gym sweeper. You ever seen him call Usyk a gym sweeper? Fuck no. One trick pony, like he did with Deontay Wilder? Fuck no. You're not going to see those type of things being explained by Tyson Fury in regards to Alexander Usyk in those ways, because those ways don't exist. He knows Alexander Usyk has great footwork. He knows he's quick. He knows he does not give up. He knows he has a good chin. But he also, the one thing he could say, he's smaller than the guys that people have pinned him up against. Wileen is about to get knocked out by Garcia. Danny Dubois versus Jermaine Franklin. Ooh, that would be good. Hellenius didn't have 12 weeks to train. You know what? I think I'm going for Charles. Like, I think this is what could happen. Charles Martin could probably knock out Danny Dubois because we know he's a quitter. We know he's a quitter. But then he don't have to. Here's the thing about Dubois. Dubois don't have to chase Charles Martin. That's the thing. Hellenius didn't have 12 weeks to train for Juice either. Hellenius KO'd Juice within 12 weeks to train. Maybe that's why he took that dope, huh? Top G, the overrated weightlifter. One trick pony versus Wilder. Ha ha ha. You got the bodybuilder and you got the one trick pony. Joe Joyce versus Charles Martin. Let's see it. Yeah. Usyk would do to Fury the same thing Crawford did to Spence. If that happened, then you would have to then debate who is best pound for pound. Because, see, Terrence stops people. Terrence makes people quit. Terrence knocks you out, beats the shit out of you. I don't think it's that far, though. I think Tyson is a lot better than Errol was. But then again, I thought Errol was too. I thought Errol was a lot better than what I saw. So, I don't know. We just have to see. But I think the reason for that is Tyson knows if Shang Tzu said this best in The Art of War. If a battle can't be won, don't fight it. Keep that in mind. You wait. See, Tyson ain't gonna fuck with Usyk now. You know, Usyk is not on everyone's favorite persons list now because of the way you decide what a low blow is. It's up to the ref, and the ref made the decision, and so that's that really. But nonetheless, people have their own opinions about it. So I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh well, he should be knocked out. He shouldn't be champion. He shouldn't be this. He shouldn't be that, and all this." So but then still, Tyson Fury don't want to fight him. And it makes me wonder, like, okay, well, Tyson, when will you fight him? I think Tyson will fight him when he knows he can beat him, when he knows that the possibilities or the chances of Usyk having the ability to do what he knows how to do, he doesn't have anymore. When he knows that those things are diminished enough, he will take on Usyk. And by that time, Usyk will damn near probably be 40 years old. Zhilei Zhang versus Otto Vailene, the battle of the Southpaw heavyweights. I think Otto Vailene gets fucking crushed by Zhilei Zhang. I think Zhilei Zhang he's just bigger, stronger, But then Otto Vailene, I think, is faster with combination. So, we don't know. Hellenius was burned out fighting a week before Juice is an opponent. Nah, I don't believe that shit at all. I think he won in dynamic fashion. He was still ready to go. He took a little time off. See, you didn't say that shit about Andy Ruiz because Andy won. See how that shit works? See, Andy just came off of a fight too. Now the narratives change when victory is upheld. When victory occurs, it's like, hey, okay, then it's for his benefit. Zhang destroys Weilin, man. Yeah, I think so. I think he runs over him. You know what I'm saying? Zhang will bash him to bits. Yeah, I see that fight. Zhang will catch him a couple times and hurt him. AJ is done. We got to see if AJ's done or not. But here's the thing. I want to follow every fighter through. If Joe Joyce is through, finished, we've saw it. We saw the Daniel Dubois. We saw the Joseph Parkers. We saw the Carlos Takums. We've seen these fights. We've seen the dominance of Joe Joyce. We've seen what he was able to do versus, what he wasn't. And if it's his time to go, we've seen it and experienced it all. That's what we do. We see, we view, we appreciate, we hate, right? We debate. But eventually these fighters, based on the sport that we love, that we hate so much, is so brutal and it takes so much out of you. There has to be an ending point. And hopefully it's a positive one. Because at the very end of the day, people, boxing is not a sport it's a temporary sport. You can't do this shit 20 years. I mean, people do. but it's not smart. You're fighting all these fucking people, and you're fighting this guy, and you're fighting that guy, and you're fighting this guy. Then you look around and one dude ain't fought nobody. That dude, stop. What's Joyce had? 18 fights or something? Yep, he's had 18 fights. He's had, I think, 16 wins and 2 losses. That's 18. Yes, sir. Garcia will break or Otto's ribs. Deontay Wilder will win a title back. If AJ is done, then so is his competition. If they have to do PEDs to fight him, screw the 50 counterpunch to you. Yeah, AJ's so done, but people are still getting busted trying to fight this motherfucker. I think that's one of the things it's a kind of a secret, understood thing that people don't discuss, but I think people know. Like, look, you fight Anthony Joshua, you might call him whatever, bodybuilder, gym sweeper, juicing J, and all this shit like that. But then when you fight him, you got to take something. Philip Hergovic versus Frank Sanchez. I'm going for Frank. That's my boy. I think Frank can get him. I think Frank can knock out Philip Hergovic. But guys, I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been a pleasure. This is the day after. Joe Joyce, let's see what he has left. I will come with you guys with hardcore, ready and steady content tomorrow. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. Let's get ready for Monday. And you all have been counterpunched. Peace.